Hare Krishna!
Hare Krishna!
Welcome to the Vyasa-puja of His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami! So, thanks for everyone for coming from all over the world, and close by, locals, for honoring a great soul in our movement, and our beloved spiritual master. So, Vyasa-puja is very important for spiritual life. The connection to the Guru is our connection to Krishna. We cannot approach Krishna directly. And we do not know how to love Krishna, but the spiritual master knows how to love Krishna. So he teaches us how to do that. So by this Vyasa-puja ceremony, we're honoring the person who was merciful to us. So, and by hearing his glories and how he's touched the hearts of our God brothers and sisters, then it'll deepen our faith and inspire us to serve our spiritual master with our life and soul. So we've presented the Vyasa-puja book to Mauritius during the kirtan, which was happily made by Gaura Prabhu and Shruta Rupa Mataji. Thank you so much. Yes, we'd like to call up Rupa Sanatan Prabhu to read his offering, and for Gopinath Acharya to be ready to come up next. And also with our lovely kids, our future of the movement, they like to be a little bit noisy, so if they're taking over, so I just take them out in that time and then bring them back in when they come down. Yeah, you know what to do. You just have to say it all the time. So, yeah. And if you feel like you want to speak from the heart instead of reading from the book directly, that's also welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I'll read my offering. It's still from the heart. Not so much capable of speaking. It's a bit longer to do. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnanam Jahaslakya Chakshuram Militamena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. As you've pointed out several times, the Renaissance brought us a rebirth of the individual. Generally, rebirth isn't such a great thing, but I suppose it's good that the individual, with a capital I, gets born again and again, for it tends to pitifully die again and again, in deluded collectivist or fascist politics, or in equally deluded monistic or nihilistic philosophies. The individual, that is, each of us as a transcendent spark or person, needs continuous rescuing from such death by absorption. It equally needs continuous rescuing from death by self-indulgence. Individuals in the Hare Krishna movement busy themselves, I hope, with exactly such rescuing, among themselves and elsewhere. They teach that personhood is paramount, and that each individual is part and parcel of the Parama Purusha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Meanwhile, they also try to settle on a balance between what it means to be a part and what it means to be a parcel of a greater whole. That is, what it means to be simultaneously different from and one with Krishna. It is in that balance, or so it seems to me, that individualism doesn't descend into self-centeredness and egoism, nor blends into some omnivorous absolute. Of course, this balanced sort of individualism was perhaps not what the Renaissance gave rebirth to. For what it had in mind seems more that an individual can do all things if he or she wills. That is, that we should try to develop our own capacities as fully as possible. An individualism, in other words, based on doing rather than being. But when you say that ISKCON has entered into its renaissance after its somewhat theocratic Sanghamacharya era, I suppose you mean that the individualism that's prevalent nowadays in some quarters of our movement is more of the self-indulgent sort, perhaps even of the New Agey, tap into your full potential, me type that is loosely or altogether at odds with institutional dominance or some sort of collective identity. It's certainly plausible, and though I wonder whether ISKCON's renaissance is caused by individuals asserting themselves or else made possible by weakened leadership, I truly hope that this renaissance goes some way in settling the balance between our individual and collective identity. After all, this is the Sankirtan movement, a movement in which we collectively sing God's praise with our individual voices. Amidst that Sankirtan choir, your unique voice sings a particularly welcome tune. You've never hidden your individualism. Indeed, you're not hiding or suppressing it, but boldly using it in Krishna's service strikes me as one of your most endearing qualities. Personhood is paramount. You sometimes refer to it as simply your Dutch nature, but I've more and more come to see it as the proper use of individual character. Moreover, the very fact that you are a self-professed public hermit indicates to me that you found a fine balance between your individualism as a hermit and serving the public, the wider Vaishnava community and humanity at large. This certainly is an example to follow. I therefore beg that I may learn to use my own individual nature for the collective good in such a way that I never become overmuch self or group absorbed. May I follow your example in the end, and in the end, personally witness and become part of the glorious simultaneous oneness and difference in the spiritual world. Thank you very much.
Next we have Gopinath Acharya, our scholar. Next is Gopali Mataji, if you can get ready.
Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. A friend of mine commented recently, without any negativity, that some spiritual masters have what he called a guru mode, a particular way of speaking and a mannerism which they adopt when assuming the role of guru, when teaching their disciples. One of the things that strikes me repeatedly about you is that you do not have this. There's a profound transparency in your dealings with your disciples. There's no duplicity, no two-facedness, no pretense. What you see is what you get, and what we see is a deep, down-to-earth honesty in your dedication to Guru and Gauranga. As you like to put it, you're a public hermit. There may be much of your inner life that is private, since you are a hermit, but you live out that life in public and lead us at least to the door of your hermitage, allowing us a peek inside. It is that openness, that transparency, that honesty that undoubtedly attracted many of those in this room to you. You give not just instructions, but also yourself to your disciples, and do so tirelessly. But on a day like today, we are reminded that there is also more to this relationship than that. Today, we honor you as Or Vyasa, and honor Vyasa through you. We are reminded that you are more than just a teacher, a guide, a friend. You are a guru, one who carries the weight of Vyasa's tradition in word and deed. Today is a joyous occasion, but also a solemn one. It makes us reflect not just on the grace you have bestowed upon us, on the kindness you have shown, on the gifts you have so freely given, but it also makes us face our own inadequate response to all that. Faced with the weight of Guru, We see clearly our imperfect surrender, the vows we have upheld in letter but not spirit, or which we have perhaps at times even broken, the personal instructions we failed to embody, or perhaps have even forgotten, the shallowness, if not hollowness, of our inner life. As small children do, we think often of what you do and can do for us, but far too rarely what we can do and should do for you in return. Today I pray that through your continued kindness and grace, the weight of my own commitment to what I have received from you may become more apparent in my own life, so that I can say with an innocent pride, not just, he is my master, but with a sincere conviction, I am his servant.
Vyasa-puja and Sangeeta with their offerings, they can come. And then after them will be Gita Govinda. That's all. And just another reminder for the mothers, yes, I'm sure the kids want to share their offering. But yeah, it's can be distracting, so please be mindful.
Yeah, I did quite a long during this time, so I just take some parts of it. You're a part of a new generation of gurus meant to open up a new page in the book of the history of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. I'm happy to often be on the same page with you, though sometimes in a different corner of it and more below. Definitely not in the center of the mainstream. You are ahead of your time, looking back of years of dedication and realization that I still lack, and that prevents you to be a victim of the past by following your calling. You are in a movement that sometimes stands still in time and tradition to lose the same. For we are coming in the line of reformers that were always escaping the status quo, that is losing the momentum. Yes, I can imagine what you would say now. You don't mind to move less and stay more and more blessed. Thank you for being your true self, following your calling, not imitating, but being a true representative of the 6 Goswamis, living in public seclusion, creatively loyal to the scriptures. Creative, create to active, create as opposing to dead, or alive in social media, in the world of pictures that show what is not reality, that shows the degeneration of my generation. I'm worried that that show is taking over the land of simple living, where we love people for what they are, not for what they are doing, or with whom they are and where. I'm hoping to get back on the same page of that book with you. One of those books I used to read more in the past. Back on the same page, where we write history for the next generations of devotees to come, who are looking for their way to express Krishna consciousness. Hopefully generations that are coming from all countries and from the middle of society, not just the ages. Okay, it goes on a bit more, but get an idea. So, yeah. What I would say is, I'm in a stage of my life where I really try to figure out where to go. And as I'm quite a free spirit, for me it's a way which is not, it's like something individual. And it's not easy to find, and if you go new ways, it's always, there's a danger to make mistakes or go off track. So I'm begging for your mercy and I hope I'll stay on the same page.
I didn't know I speak here, so I not prepare anything. Last year quite tense. Things happened to me, and I very appreciated your support and help me. Encourage me again, and it's really so I became very emotional. Still now, it's when I'm meeting, like become emotional because memory comes, and I was really quite a difficult time, and you were really like be my father, like my family. With my family, I was difficult, but you were really. Yeah, that takes time for me and to speak together and give positive things and how should be like showing. One, 2 months I was like with Maharaj to travel, maybe like South Africa, Mauritius, India. It's really appreciated. Always, Maharaj always encourages people to give the energy and positive and how can I say? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You can have a Bahulashra group to get ready and come down. So, a little emphasis on encouragement, individuality by Maharaj, being himself, but very charming. I remember I was in Sydney with Maharaj, and I don't know if you know, I like Harinam Sankirtan. When I was in Melbourne, Australia, I couldn't do as much as I wanted. So then Maharaj told me to just join him in Sydney. And on that day, there was Maha Harinam in Sydney. We're going to start at the Opera House. So we woke up in the morning. We had a late program. We woke up around the same time. And just as you wake up, you're a bit like drowsy and stuff. And Maharaj opens his door, and he goes, "All right, Harinam, today's your day." And I'm like, "Yeah!" And I start dancing. He starts dancing too. We start dancing around the bed, something like that. Well, that's for me.
Dear Kadamba Kanana Swami, I just got some few lines for you. some inspiration for thinking about what you're giving us. When you're giving us class or seminars, you give us knowledge, transcendental knowledge and other knowledge too. You give us stories from life, realizations, practical advice how to apply knowledge in our life. You give us kirtans, sweet kirtans that fill our hearts with transcendental joy so that we can go on with our duties and spiritual work. When we have darshan with you, you give time. You give a lot of time with your disciples. Again, you give your personal advice and you give attention. You give patience, support and appreciation, chastisement, and you give compassion. What else are you giving? You give us association with God brothers and God sisters. You give us endless mercy. You give us your bhakti. Finally, you're giving your life, heart and soul, giving yourself, and you're giving a meaning to the word giving. In the worst crisis of my life, you give me your association. You are there for me. And I can only give this offering of complete appreciation for all that you give, and hope it will stay in my heart as an inspiration for my own life.
And if everyone could move forward closer to Maharaj, this lotus feet would be nice to make more space so everyone can be comfortable. Thank you very much.
I'm just feeling like King Sukaba yesterday, as he suddenly came up to speak on the sofa. And in my case, I was just told, okay, please come up and say something. Of course, this Vyasa-puja is the time to connect deeply with the spiritual master and give some words from the realizations from the past year. And it's actually a duty to sit here and to speak something. This year, as I was writing my offering, I was thinking, well, in the past few years we hadn't had so much direct contact. Before we were driving around here in Belgium and other parts of Europe. But still, the few moments with you are so incredible and spiritual nourishing, because I met you there in Frankfurt at the airport, and only for about 2.5 hours, 3 hours we were together. I was driving you to Cologne, and only in these few hours it showed the big range of your mercy to me personally, and in this case also to other disciples, because there were different layers we were reciprocating as we were buying the new suitcase. I mean, it was a relaxed mood. On the other hand, it was very important to connect spiritually, like spiritual master to disciple, asking about the future, asking about some things, how the spiritual life should progress. And on the other hand, also on a level like, as I'm doing something on the European level, there's also another connection between us, or is another rasa between us. So in this case, you're distributing the mercy, and you're also, just yesterday, it became so obvious how you also have this ability like Srila Prabhupada to engage devotees specifically in a service, and also how to reciprocate personally, like instructions, caring and uplifting the devotees and your disciples. And in my case, as I feel probably a little sensitive, you're also
sensitive and explaining to me so that I can take it, swallow it easily, and to others you are direct and anyway, in both cases very caring and very helpful, and I'm so grateful that you serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada, this ISKCON movement, your spiritual master, so dedicated. And I mean, I've been here from the beginning, like 2003, as the first Vyasa-puja was over there in this, near the playground with only a cake, and now you have a big spiritual family already gathered, and for many, many years. It's quite impressive, and I feel very grateful for you being there and inspiring all your disciples and aspiring disciples. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, next we have Tirumala Mataji, and after her, Jayanita. If you can get it right, Jayanita.
Shrimati Kadamba Kanana Swami Tinamina, Rama Krishna Kadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Vyasa Puja Swami Tinamina, Rama Krishna Kadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamina, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Gani Vacharani, Nirvishesha Sundari Pascha. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my most respectful obeisances like the dust of human city lotus feet again and again. All glories to you, Guru Maharaj, on this auspicious day and celebration of your Vyasa-puja. All glories to Srila Jayaveta Swami Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I cannot help but sometimes wonder how it is that you accepted someone like me as your disciple. I sometimes wonder how it can be that you accepted someone so tolerant. I sometimes wonder how it is that you can be so tolerant of someone who always falls short in so many ways, who does not have a trace of any Vaishnava qualities. I would not be honest if I said that I felt that I deserved to have been accepted by you, or if I said that I have feel any sense of belonging to your other sons and daughters, because I don't. I cannot say that I have served you for very long. I haven't. I cannot even say that I have known you for very long. I haven't. Yet, when I look at your other disciples, who do so much for you, who serve you with such great dedication, it is so easy to recognize their good qualities. It is easy to see their love and affection for you. It is clear to me that it was simply out of mercy that you accepted me as your disciple. Your life of sacrifice and dedication to serving Srila Prabhupada's instructions is so inspiring, and yet I cannot say that I am appreciative or understanding of the depth of your commitment. You gave your heart so selflessly in service to delivering the most unfortunate and undeserving. And yet such a fool such as myself gives nothing of value in return. Somehow you are so merciful to this undeserving daughter. And somehow whenever I have the desire to offer you something without the means to do so, somehow the arrangements are just made in the strangest ways, and yet still, with all the resources that I have, my offerings are so poor, but still you accept all my meager offerings. I wish that I could say that even though I fall short, that my offerings are made with love, but if that were true, they would all have been perfect. I am so unfortunate that I have no love. Yet, despite being so unqualified and despite falling short in all my attempts to please you, I will never stop trying. Even though I am constantly reminded of how undeserving I am still your disciple, and I always will be. And you are my spiritual master, and you always will be. As His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami once wrote in a letter, the relationship of the Guru and the disciple is so sacred, even the destruction of the entire universe cannot separate them. I remain your servant always, Chirumani.
I'm a little bit nervous. Speaking, not the first time to you, and sometimes, like quite often, still in this occasion I feel nervous, probably because it's important and we kind of offer our, we a little bit our state of consciousness and our understanding to guru-disciple relationship. So I really like you as a personality because you exemplify something which many are seeking, and you also push us to become more realized. Like today in the class you said you have thousands of ideas how to give people the possibility to connect with Krishna. And I guess I know you have thousands of ideas and you have many disciples. And still we are speaking about individuality, and I feel you want your disciples to find their own ideas also and to connect with these ideas, and in this way live Krishna consciousness and also give Krishna consciousness to others. And on the other hand, you still are there to guide us, and you give us inspirations, and this makes it very. Actually, this is a very great empowerment in this way, because you help us to become more the individual we are, and to understand it and to engage our individual nature in Krishna's service. And of course, mainly by showing it by your own example, but also if we ask you for instructions. Normally you don't say do this or that, but I mean, at least this is my experience. But you just give us a picture of what the consequences of the different choices are, and let us do our own decisions. And ultimately it's our decision to surrender to Krishna and to offer what we do to Krishna's lotus feet, and to offer it to you. And so you cannot just push us to do something. On the other hand, you give us also, you set some high goals for us, or you give us space in this to achieve some high goals. Like I remember when I took shelter at your lotus feet in our first darshan, you said, I want my disciples to become pure devotees. And I thought, okay, that's what I want to be and want to become, and I thought, I'm on a good way already. But the more I progress in spiritual life, I see that there's still a lot to do. And I know that I'm totally depending on your mercy. But I feel also that you're very much giving me shelter and supporting me. And but I also really much appreciate that you set this whole goal, and this high goal, that you say this is what we want to achieve. And I hope that I hope you will not forget me. I know you will not forget me. Just a few days ago, your mercy will be there. But just a few days ago, I had this thought like, what if he withdraws his mercy from me? And I thought, okay, it would be very dangerous for me. So please be always merciful to me and to all of us. to myself to more understand my individual nature and engage it in Krishna's service for your pleasure. And this way help to spread this wonderful movement. Thank you very much. Good much.
Thank you, Jayanatas. Next we'll have Kuti and Shamba. If you can get ready, coming down. And after that will be Tosi Guru.
Dear Guru Maharaj, yeah, we're going to fight about the mic. So prepared like that, but yeah, I'm just gonna go spontaneous about some things. I kind of remember the day I realized that you know, you didn't really need the massages you allowed me to give you. But it was yeah, it was for my benefit. So yeah, in that way, that says a lot. Of the way you are with all of us, and another thing I like is that you seem to be saying that, you know, if you're in trouble, just let me know, and I'll uplift you, I'll bring you up to standard. And it seems simple, you know, to let you know. Sometimes it's, but whenever I'm in association with you in different ways, I feel like the verse of lately, last time I came to, when you came, I felt really, you know, I was feeling tormented by my mind, and then I felt like the samsara prayers of the way, you know, these rains are the tormented fire of my mind, immediately sorted by your presence. And yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I don't usually do this because I'm such a sentimental, and I actually run out of here usually because I'm crying, and it's just embarrassing, you know. And I have service, so. But actually, I'm happy to get the opportunity to tell you how much I appreciate you, and actually just really appreciate how much you're doing for this movement. When I think about, I mean, I remember growing up always thinking, you know, what was I going to do for ISKCON? That's just something that was going through my head, and I mean, there's a place for everyone. There really is. And I never always felt like where was my place. You know, I'm definitely an individual, and very, like you, when you speak, I think, thank goodness my guru can understand such a critical mind. I'm always, like, in my head, I don't usually always say it, but in my head, oh, why is this, what are they doing, you know? And it means there's still place for me. There's place that you've allowed for people like me to be there and still serve and still have the opportunity to connect to this, you know, beyond us movement, which really is going to take us to the next stage. So whenever I come for these festivals, I'm reminded of just everything that you can do for us. Because I'm critical. I'm thinking, yeah, guru, why do we need a guru? And Prabhupada's always there. It's not unusual thinking, by the way, in my generation. But I'm now a convert. I understand. You say, why? Sometimes in class you'll say, why did they do this? And later, like, oh, I get now why they do this. So I tend to be in the same. I have to be convinced of everything, and I'm convinced. I know for a fact that you've been the one keeping. Your mercy's been keeping a lot of my life going straight instead of all the other places that it would have. And I'm just happy to be able to serve you and one day hopefully be someone that people see and say, oh, that's a nice disciple. Who's their guru? And that's my aspiration really, is to be something that is worthwhile for our God family. So thank you very much.
Next we have Tulsi Guru and after Namarupa.
Hare Krishna, Rich. I wrote an offering, it's in the book. It's a little long, so you can read it later. And I just wanted to share a few nice stories that exemplify different features of your character. I think they will like them. One story is one time we were in Simcha-chana, and one devotee again, he was offering to help you something with your health, and he said, Maharaj, I know amazing way for purification of the liver. And you look at him and you said, I don't care about purification of the liver, I care only for purification of the heart. So this was he didn't say anything. Another time we were coming back from King's Day and you asked for some prasadam because you were hungry. So your servant said, Maharaj, we have only banana and yellow cheese. And you said, okay, give me banana and yellow cheese. And one devotee, he was looking at him, he commented, Maharaj, I never saw this. I saw one time one guru to eat apple and cheese, but I never saw someone to eat banana and yellow cheese. And then you just look at him and you said, what do you know about eating? We are from Holland. Here we are eating yellow cheese and banana. That's it. Another time we were in Mayapur. We were going for a parikrama. So before parikrama you said I'm tired. So this time we will keep everything relaxed. And then we did maybe parikrama continued for maybe like 4 hours. You were leaving maybe 2 or 3 hours after them. And then we were just entering the campus, and the Harinam party just came straight to us and they said, Maharaj, a few days ago you promised you have to lead kirtan, so please do something about it. And then Maharaj said, okay, half an hour. And then after 3 hours we finished. And we were going slowly to your room, and then you look at us and you said, I overdid it again. You know which grape juice you have to buy for me now? And the last story I want to say is, actually it's a story about Srila Prabhupada. One time, Srila Prabhupada was in one temple, and there was a devotee who was acting in a little strange way. Basically, he was some hippie, he was all the time lying somewhere, not doing really service. So the temple president, he went, he complained to Srila Prabhupada, this is not proper. Prabhupada said, please tolerate. And little after that, the devotee, the temple president came again, and he said, "This is Srila Prabhupada, this is too much. This devotee just have to get out of here." And Prabhupada said, "No, please, tolerate him. He will do good in the future." And then after a few weeks more, the temple president went to Prabhupada and said, "No, this devotee is leaving the temple. This is too much." And Prabhupada looked at him and he said, "You don't know how merciful is Lord Nityananda. There is no one who is as merciful as Lord Nityananda." And Srila Prabhupada said, "Please tolerate him. He'll make spiritual advancement." So maybe the most amazing quality in your character when I was looking during the years is your mercy. You're ready to do everything for everyone in order to make even little spiritual advancement. So thank you very much for this, and please tolerate us in the future also.
Thank you, Prabhu. Just check it up a bit. I remember before Krishna consciousness, I was really into one comedian called Russell Peters. If anyone knows him. So he likes to crack Indian jokes and put Indian accent. But me and my brother, we booked these tickets like months before I became a devotee. And I never heard Maharaj speak before. And it was the first time at a Sunday feast. So I was tossing up, "Oh no, my brother, we booked these tickets months ago. And then when I started spiritual life, I should, go to the Sunday feast. What do I do? I'll stuff it. I know he's funny, Russell Peters, but I'll go for this class." So I didn't know Maharaj then. And then in the Sunday feast, I was in tears, crying. He cracked so many Indian accent jokes. So, thank you very much.
Om Gyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshuru Marikamina Tasma Shivaranam Shanchayita Manadishtam Stamya Swami Kadamba Kanana Swami. Dear Guru Maharaj, happy appearance day. This year is a little bit unique for me. I did a little bit unusual journey. For 7 months I was traveling around, trying to get out of my autopilot, doing sadhana and working, full-time working, and trying to manage that life, trying to do something for my personal well-being. So I went to India, recharged some batteries, and I was thinking, okay, I'm looking for an adventure now, I'm going to Australia. And little did I know, I came just in the middle of Prabhupada Marathon. I haven't been on streets doing Sankirtan for many years. And many of the devotees from Govinda Valley, they have a Sankirtan house, they have still a Sankirtan house in Sydney, so I was thinking, okay, let me try this. So, by your mercy, I was super surprised. Nobody was more surprised than me. How good it felt to be on the streets again, meeting people and having this courage. I mean, I'm not really a shy person, but to having this courage to approach just about anybody and give them Krishna in some way or another. That was amazing, and that was made me thinking. Since we started this guru-disciple relationship, I have been taking this kind of leaps that are a little bit different. Like, for example, recently I got a Srila a few years ago, her blessings, I'm still maintaining that. And this was a journey, like, I wanted to see what I'm made of, but at the same time, you and Krishna had another plan. You wanted me to take another step, to find out that I could do something more. So I did get a little taste more than a little. And I'm hoping to maintain that somehow or another, to give Krishna to others. Another thing that was fun during this, not fun, but was like a little realization is that you speak that you're living out of the suitcase. You have all your possessions, and every possession has a place in the suitcase. Even in the dark, you can find things. So I found out that's true after 7 months in the suitcase. So even in the dark, I can find new things. Now I'm thinking, this is how it feels. Simple life, I really loved it. So I got a taste, and also got encouragement that I have nothing to be afraid of. Krishna is always there, and wonderful devotees always support, and yeah, I can just be myself and do what I can. So protection was always there. Oftentimes I would see it after things would happen, like, oh my God. So I thank you for that. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking care of me and giving me the opportunity to surrender and go beyond my little frame that I feel it's a comfort zone. Let's see how life will develop now after this journey. I'm praying that this is just a seed that was planted, and that it will grow into something that I can offer substantially to you. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
Janavi Chandrika Mataji, and then after Krishna Kirtan.
I was kind of hoping they wouldn't call me, because yesterday it seemed like a very great idea since I was very inspired and everything, but this is like really out of my comfort zone and doesn't seem so great anymore. But since I'm here already, I can say something. So it seems like the common theme of this year's Vyasa-puja is uniqueness and finding ourselves in Krishna consciousness while still, following all the rules and everything. And that's something I have noticed about Guru Maharaj before, because he always seems to have a very unique way of doing everything. For example, while doing kirtans, I have seen and heard some people try to imitate Maharaj while singing, but it never worked. Never. And with that's like everything. And I've always found Guru Maharaj to be very kind and very affectionate. He always made me feel like I am his favorite disciple. Thank you. Well, yeah. And I always saw him as my second father, as someone who I can always turn to, someone who will always take care of me when I'm feeling down, or push my ego down when I'm feeling too high, like that. And also he's very open-minded and accommodating, and he has a way to reach out to everybody. And you can see that in his disciples. There's so many kinds of people, like there is no disciple like the other. And I feel really, really happy to be a part of such a family. And every time when someone asks me my name and they ask me, and who is your spiritual master? And I'm like, it's Kadamba Kanana Swami. Yes, and I'm his youngest disciple, which is also very important. And yeah. So there is kind of hard to find something that other people haven't spoken about yet, and I'm still sitting here and acting like I actually know what am I speaking about. So I'm going to make this short and wrap this up, and I wanted to say thank you so much for everything you've done for me. Thank you for all the time, for all the mercy, for all the opportunity. I remember almost everything since I was small. One of my earliest memories, so I was like maybe 3, 4, I remember you. And I remember when I was acting, I was a cow, and Guru Maharaj was standing there, and he was chanting and smiling at me, and I was like, yes. And if I ever get some weird ideas in my head and try to go away, please slap me back, because that's the best place I can be. Thank you.
So you taught me about a phrase from a province near where you were born, and I confirmed it with Rupa. Luktur et immergo. And I want to enlighten those who don't know Dutch what this means, because it very much summarizes what Maharaj is in my eyes. It's Dutch for I struggle. It's Latin. It's just testing the Dutch. Sleepy eyes in it. So it's Latin, and it stands for I struggle and I emerge. And this, he told me this just as he was recovering from his severe bout of pneumonia, which he experienced during February and March. And he was at our house for 3-4 weeks. And it was a bittersweet experience. It was bitter because to see somebody you love so much, for all of us in the UK that were trying to care for him, emphasis being on trying, there were many mistakes on the way, which I'll come to now. We were trying to care for him, but at the expense of his ill health. But there was a lot of intimacy, and we shared many exchanges. So I wanted to come to the point where Maharaj is very much the emblem of giving, and you can hear that in his classes. It's always, and he's emphasizing it today in his important lecture, that we must give, even after his departure, that we must carry on giving. But here was a situation where he physically was unable to keep giving us. He came in a very dependent mood, and for those of us who have seen the final days of Prabhupada videos, it's a very heart-rendering episode with Tamar Krishna Goswami and Bhakti Goswami looking after Prabhupada, needing help. And Kadamba Kanana doesn't like us touching his feet, socks, anything. But this time round, he really needed the help. So with the help of the crane, which Maharaj called Sutapa, lifting him up and putting him on the bed, Seisha slapping him with oil, all in the wrong time and the wrong places. And it was all sorts of errors. One night shift I had, and I couldn't wake up, so he came and kicked me on the head and woke me up. And he had already been to the bathroom, and just woke me up for the fun of it. We had lots of fun, but it was a very interesting lesson to see how Maharaj, he was taking an hour to chant one round. He was in a lot of pain. But he just never gave up. Just did not give up. And he told all of us, or some of us, the story of how when he got shot in Vrindavan, he managed to do pranayam, keep composed, very practical as he is, but still dig deep and able to climb out of the toilet so that he wasn't there in the following day. And he dragged himself until he got help. And that resilience, that depth of going deep, not only has he been able to practice in his spiritual life, in his relationships to us, but he's also been able to practice that in overcoming the struggles that come with any great devotee. If we look at any of the pastimes of the Lord, the devotee always has to go through some struggles. There's no success without failures. And in many eyes, if I was to go and tell a colleague at work that my guru is somebody who's been shot, mafia after him, cancer, pneumonia, jaundice, all of these things kicked out of it. He had so many things, but he still survives. And not only does he survive, the assembly today glorifies how much success he is, even though he's such an individual. So to be such an individual and to go through all these struggles and keep emerging successful, and with my interactions with other senior Vaishnavas, whenever I say my Guru Maharaj is Kadamba Kanana Swami, they're like, wow, isn't he just the best? And they really love his kindness, his broad-mindedness. And he shared something with me in the kitchen, how Jade Vaita Maharaj very much also appreciates your service that you're rendering to him. So just on the cuff, I just wanted to say thank you so much for showing us that resilience that we'll all need. Some of us are facing small struggles and some big. Seeing your example, just keep rising to the occasion. And what Bhavananda taught you is that the show must go on. That Bhavananda Prabhu, that he showed you. That I think as a community, we want to show that to you. I personally want to try and live up to that. And whenever I get a struggle, see that moment when you're lying in bed trying to change your rounds and you manage it. And we have to manage our path to becoming pure devotees for your pleasure. So thank you so much and happy birthday.
Okay, so we'll have a little bit of a break now. 15 minutes, and after that please come back. We'll have a video, and Gopal and Gurudas, please be around to do your offering. Gurudas has got a song, I think, yeah? A rap, alright yo, a rap. So thank you very much. We'll see you in 15 minutes. Hare Krishna.
Him and Kiraj in the house, and I always try to hide myself because I'm a little bit shy, and then he always asks, where's Jaya? Where's Jaya? I cannot find her. Yeah, it was one of my greatest moments to have him home. Yeah. Marriage is truly a wish-fulfilling tree. He fulfills all the wishes. For example, my husband always told me before I got initiated, I took a long time to get initiated, and before he always told me, when you will be initiated, your name will be Sudevi. And I didn't like it. Sudevi, it was too simple. A lot of Sudevis around. But then, someday I got initiated, and Maharaj said, from now on your name will be Sudevi. So he fulfilled the wish of my husband, that my name will be Sudevi. And he didn't know about it. And from his lips, I liked it. I totally liked it. I could, I really did already. I don't have another story. Oh, friend. And I heard from other good sisters, like he doesn't like to be like applause after his kirtan. He just wants to serve and be our friend and help us on our way back home to God, back home to Krishna.
We found out that Maharaj wasn't doing so well. So then Malini and Kirti got together and they thought it would be a good idea for us to have a kirtan and to share prasadam.
too bad either. So this caused us to put our heads together to come up with other occasions where we could meet and have kirtans. Oh yeah, and prasad. Of course, without waiting until Maharaj gets sick again.
One time Maharaj was buying books from ILS, from Radhadesh, and he bought quite some books. So there was a brahmachari there. He decided, okay, let me just render some service to Maharaj. So he offered Maharaj, let me help you with the books. And then Maharaj said, just give me a break, like I can do it on my own. And he turned to Krishnamurti, who is the owner of ILS, and said, a little more, they will want to come in the toilet with me. I cannot understand, I can do everything alone. And so Maharaj has this nature to be as much as independent from everybody else and depend on Krishna.
beloved Guru Maharaj. His name is Kadamba Kanana Swami. I was just going to allow me to say what I was trying to say. What I wanted to say is like, I don't think it's going to sound funny, but that's how it went last time when Maharaj went to Australia, and it just happened to be like 1 week before I was coming to India, and I really wanted to see him because he couldn't come at the beginning of the year, and I wanted to ask for his blessing. So I decided I wanted to go and see him in this first city where he arrived, and so I drove a few hours from Melbourne, and I had brought something for him from Colombia, which was, I know he can't eat nuts, but I was hoping that he could have peanuts. And so there was this nice peanuts covered in organic jaggery or something. And so when I arrived in Canberra, and then when I saw him later on, I just said, I have a little thing for you. And so I gave it to him, and he said, like, I can't have peanuts. I said, they're organic. And then he said, even if they're organic, I can't have them. I said, okay, Maharaj, I will give it to somebody else then. So anyway, I was so happy I got to see him, and I asked him for his blessings before coming to the dam and before leaving Australia. So luckily, during Kartik, he was in Mayapur, and I was just hoping that I would have the chance to have like a proper darshan with him. So in some point it became like, oh, maybe it's not even going to happen here because it's more busier than in Australia. We was very busy with the schedules and program, and it's more disciples there, and I was like, no, it's not going to happen here either. But one of our God sisters, she's very keen, and she knows pretty closely like what's going on with Maharaj programs and every movement he does. And thanks to her mercy, I happened to know that Maharaj was seeing some devotees in the Bhajan Kutir, and so I went there with her, and then he saw me, and it wasn't planned obviously, but when he saw me, he just called me, and I was, oh my God, it's happening. And as soon as I just stepped into the Bhajan Kutir, he happened to have some sweets from Colombia, and I don't know who gave it to him, sorry, and it's this coconut and jaggery candy as well, and he just showed it to me like, he said, from Colombia, organic. And it was okay, I really like it, and I will have it, thank you very much.
anything new here? No. Still looking for it. Okay, so then we'll have Gopali Mataji. She's ready. Next video.
Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj. Okay, so I did not, again this year, didn't plan to speak the offering, but the UK devotees always somehow trick me in. But anyway, it's not that I don't want, but you know, like, there's the feeling, like, but there's nothing substantial or nothing that's like wise that I could say. But anyway, yeah, I thank you for being with me, being with us. You are a wonderful person. There's nothing like philosophical I want to say. Maybe this time I say some little story that I remember, some remembrance with you. And one of the memories that are for me like very deep was like when. That was many years ago, maybe like 13 years ago, when I saw you laughing the most I ever seen you laughing. And that was, we were in Czech driving you in the car, and Mayapur Chandradaya Prabhu was with us, and he was a brahmachari then, and he was saying like, he started to quote all the verses about like, how one should not associate with a woman and stay so long, and that it's a dark well in the life. He kept talking like that, and at that time, like, I did not know you much, and I'm kind of like a very shy person, so I could not say anything, but it was so transparent to me. So at one point, I just turned at him and I said, "Well, just get an ugly one." You were laughing so much there. You were laughing like for 5 minutes, like clapping your thighs, and like, hey, Mayapur with ugly wife. Yeah, that was, I won't remember that. Then I remember one that you laughed even more, that when Parameshwara told you that he had to dance polka with my mother. that was a funny one. And yeah, one more memory I have with you from Radhadesh that was quite nice for me. Somehow we brought something to your room and you said like, stay here. That was like Ikshvaku Prabhu, and I was there, and you had your neck stiff, so you could not do the puja, so you asked us if we want to do it, but I never like had Govardhana in my head, and I was wondering how do I do everything with one hand, because I thought I cannot touch him with left hand, and this was quite difficult. So at one point I decided I rather ask you like, can I touch him with left hand? And you said, oh, you can continue with your Vaikuntha mood, but I'm from Vrindavan, and in Vrindavan we touch Krishna also with left hand. Which was quite nice. So yeah, that is what I wanted to say. Hare Krishna.
Now we have Gurudas Prabhu with a song. Very serious.
Hare Krishna. I just want to say, Maharaj, you are very wonderful. Devotees are ruthless though, sometimes. So the devotees asked me, were you able to do a song for the Vyasa-puja? And my response was, Vyasa-puja is tomorrow and it's 10 p.m. Then I got, you can put the phones away, and then I got a response from the devotees, who was Sutta Prabhu, Niskhinchana Chaitanya Prabhu and Sesha Prabhu, wonderful devotees. They said, be fearless. And as Suttapa said in his class, I said, I don't care what Suttapa said. And I said that I won't be ready for it. You can't just make a song like that. People would be millionaires if they could just make songs that big. And then I was told, it's not for you, it's for Maharaj. So, I didn't even get a chance to Maharaj like finish that
Show it to the phones.
However, the spiritual master is expert at extracting the little devotion what's there. Thank you, and sorry for arguing with the devotees, and I did F and blind a little bit. Sorry. So let's put this on half volume, and I think that one on just 3 is good enough. And let it be what it is. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Maharaj ki jai. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Living many lives of suffering, living lives drenched in sin, waiting for punishment, revolving around, going down, going deep in. I've been lost in the gutter. I thought I've got no end. This is where it ends. No more hope, no more hope, no more reason to live. To carry on, game over. Trapped by the sufferings of our mind, I cannot find any way forward. Being in this material world, I wanna get out, I need help. Then spiritual master came, boom, next level. Gurudev, my savior, transcendental. Put out his arm, grab my hand, help me stand. Grand promised to take me to the spiritual land. I was smelly, smelt of weed, contaminated, ill-fated. Gurudev gave me another chance to dance to the real trance. Flight to take to the sweet, to my sweet Lord. Please, I beg, I'm on my knees. Leave me floating in ecstasy. Life of bliss, life of purity, life of beauty, life of love. I cannot repay you for the things that you've done for me. I just want to say to the world, Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, because of him, I'm living it large. Dearest Guru Maharaj, hold me in your arms, don't ever drop me. Dearest Guru Maharaj, it's not the 80s, so please do not swap me. Dearest Guru Maharaj, I know that you're broad-minded, spiritual vision, large range. Dearest Guru Maharaj, I know many of us disciples are a little bit strange. Spiritual master, boom, next level Gurudev, you're my savior, transcendental. Pull out his arm, grab my hand, help me stand. This is the grand promise to take me to the spiritual land. I am lit, smelly, smell of weed, contaminated, self-hated, ill-fated. But Gurudev gave me another chance to dance to the real trance of my sweet Lord. Fly to the take the seat to the beat to my sweet Lord. Gurudev, everybody, Gurudev.
Thank you. Next we'll have Shukadev Prabhu. Maharaj, would you like to introduce Shukadev Prabhu? Okay. Yeah, he went to Gurukul in Vrindavan and knows Maharaj for a long time actually. And been through the ups and downs of ISKCON, also seen it all. So it's nice to see he's come all the way from Australia, and now that he's the vice president there, and I really will say some nice words.
It says in our Shastra that our human form is very rare. Even rarer is the being a Vaishnava. And even rarer that we are part of the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, who came 500 years ago to inaugurate the holy name Yuga Dharma. And even more fortunate and rarer is being in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. And this fortune personally in my life has been, Maharaj has been my, he is the one who introduced me to the Srila Prabhupada's mission in the Krishna consciousness. And just to share a story how one day I was only 11 years old, and my father said, "We're going to the Angrez Mandir." And Angrez Mandir means it's the ISKCON at the time is more locally known as the temple of Englishmen, or the Angrez Mandir means the temple of the foreigners or the Englishmen. And I said, "Why are we going there?" He said, "I'm going to put you in the Angrez Mandir." And so he came. At the time, Maharaj was the temple commander, and he went to his office, and I went along with him. And he told Maharaj he wants to give my son, is my father telling Maharaj, "I want to give my son to ISKCON, to his mission." Maharaj said, "He's just 11 years old, how can I take him?" And there was the exchange went between Maharaj and my father. And my father was so determined. And Maharaj finally accepted me as... so Maharaj has facilitated me in going into a school, which at the time, I mean, for my father, probably wouldn't be possible to pay the fee. And he has organized for me to join the Gurukula. And so Maharaj at the time was a temple commander. Then the service, he moved to Mayapur, and meanwhile I was in the Gurukul and graduated back in 88, 89. And then Maharaj came back from Mayapur after the Samadhi, he's building a Samadhi. And then I was also part of his management team after my graduation from the Gurukul. And a couple of things I would like to say are special about Maharaj is, of course, we had many years of togetherness and many associations. There's a lot of things I could share. But I just want to, two things I want to share, that the being in Vrindavan, it's not easy, and he was a temple president, and managing at a Vrindavan temple, it's big in scale. There's so many departments, so many things happening from the international scale. So it's not easy, but somehow Maharaj has kept that strong. Maharaj has the skill and the managerial, and then so many years Maharaj has made Vrindavan a very special place. One of the admiration for Maharaj I have is his sadhana. Maharaj would every day get up around 2 o'clock or 2:30 in the morning, and I was fortunate to live just right next to him in the Kedia land in MBT, where MBT is in Vrindavan. MBT is now. At the time, there was just an old building, and with no facility, no toilets. We were living in the first floor, and to even just to take a bath, we had to take our own buckets. We had to go downstairs with no light, and then a lot of dog barking, and then go into it. Then they pump the water from the hand pump, and then take a bucket bath. So this is the kind of austerity Maharaj has taken. Regardless of all this, the facilities, Maharaj would be every day following his routine. He would get up at around 2 o'clock, and he would follow his whole full morning program every day. And his living condition, he was just had a little small room, and very simple. Had just his few belongings of his dhoti, and just few pots and pans. So the simplicity, the sadhana, and the dedication of to Srila Prabhupada's mission is the Maharaj's one of these are the great qualities. I really appreciate Maharaj's qualities he has for so many years. In my personal life, Maharaj has guided me through both ups and downs everywhere. He's been with me all the time, and I pray on this day that Maharaj continues to shower his mercy upon us. And my wife said, please thank Maharaj for allowing us to be here. And we're very fortunate. I really appreciate the warmth of the devotees here. We come all the way from Australia, India, and then we came here. And to get the warmth, we really appreciate. I thank you very much for all the hospitality, and thank you, Maharaj.
Next we have Vyasa-puja, Peru, the earliest disciples of Maharaj.
Srimate Kadamba Kanana Swami. Krishna was so happy to be here in the Sunday Association here. I wanted to talk a little bit about spiritual strength today, and you as the embodiment of spiritual strength, as a representative of Balarama. I was a couple of weeks ago. I was in the cloisters in Manhattan, way uptown. It's a museum with medieval art. A statue caught my attention of Saint Anthony, who was a desert father, and it's a statue of a sage standing on a demoniac being. He's keeping his cane in his mouth. So it's a symbol of his conquest over the lower nature. And he looked like a warrior. It was like, it's a sage, but an embodiment of spiritual strength. And we very much think of you like that. It's an embodiment of great spiritual strength. Srila Prabhupada, he often quotes from the Upanishads, Ayam Ama Balahine Labhya, that we cannot attain the God consciousness without Bala, without strength, spiritual strength. and this Bala is the mercy of Lord Balaram. So I was thinking about what is this spiritual strength which the Shastra talks about. What is this spiritual strength of Lord Balaram? And what's the weakness we have to conquer? So Prabhupada talks about the weakness in the Gita. He says in the 15th chapter, text 20, purport, while performing devotional service in the association of pure devotees in full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which require to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing one has to surmount is the weakness of heart. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. Thus one gives up transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord. The second weakness of heart is that one increases the propensity for lording it over material nature, and he becomes attached to matter and the possession of matter. The problems of material existence are due to these weaknesses of heart. So, Prabhupada somewhat defines the false ego as our causeless unwillingness to serve, to embrace our position of service. And we find in the character of Lord Balaram how he just increases his service in so many different ways, in unlimited different ways. He constantly glorifies the Lord. He constantly serves the Lord in all different capacities in the matter of creation, maintenance of the material world. And in this way he serves with great strength. He serves him personally as Lakshmana, we see. He served Rama very personally. We see how he, as Nityananda, he goes mad in service of the Lord. So we also meditate on that quality by you being the embodiment of Lord Balaram, just serve the Lord with so much exuberance and so much the transcendental madness to it. And like Lakshman, when he follows Rama the forest, he practically doesn't sleep. So we also see that sometimes in our spiritual masters and in your life also, how give up so much personal convenience for the service of the Lord. So one quality which, meditating on this quality of Balaram, how it's such a negation of the whole false ego that we have an independent identity. And what inspires me most about you is that willingness to serve. That you're always embracing the Lord's service, in being generous, whatever comes. Okay, it may be personally inconvenience, but without consideration, you just take it. And it's not such a thing like, well, I can only do this, and therefore I cannot do that. It's more like, it's not an or thing, it's more like, okay, let me do this and let me do that. So I feel as a representative of Lord Balaram, you show the spiritual strength, how to serve Krishna, and not to back out of anything, but to take whatever comes your way, whatever circumstances come your way, whatever service come your way, just take it and not in a begrudging way, with strength, with enthusiasm, to just serve. And I'm finding in life how more and more responsibilities are coming, more services are coming, more responsibilities are coming, family life. And I find it just such a great example to have, to meditate on your example, just taking it, just embracing it, and be willing to serve and not holding back. So today, I'm just meditating and glorifying that quality, and also asking for you, for your blessings and mercy as the representative of Lord Balaram to bestow upon me and all of us this spiritual strength by which we can sustain, and by which we don't make excuses but we actually take it and see through and become people of character and substance, conquering our lower nature, our lower tendency to just kind of take it easy in spiritual life, or to make excuses like, oh, I cannot do this because we all make so much excuses. And I find in your character you don't do that. You don't make excuses. You just take it, and with strength and enthusiasm and compassion also. You don't become hard-hearted in doing it. You're strict on yourself and lenient with other people. So it's a great example for me. Sometimes I wonder why you and also other personalities suffer so much. And I kind of came to the conclusion that this is also Krishna's arrangement. It's not due to karma or anything. It's Krishna's arrangement to show us that you don't give us any excuse. You serve in any condition, if it's good or bad. And you do, in bad health, you will do way more than I'll be doing in the best of health. So there's no excuse to really fully give ourselves in service, whatever position we may be, whatever ashram we may be, whatever condition we find ourselves in. So I'm very grateful to have had so much of your personal association and so much being able to see how you conduct yourself in this way. And I hope to imbibe some of that in my own life and to take that strength and that enthusiasm and just embrace my Krishna consciousness always, and just keep on serving for this whole life. Like, thank you very much.
And now we'll have Champakata, and after will be Gita Govinda. So please get ready. She's here. Gita Govinda, if you're here, please come. Please come and get ready. Time is short.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. As you know, I'm not a person of many words. I rather don't speak. But this occasion with you and all those disciples, it's so wonderful. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to say thank you, Maharaj, for the guiding you gave during all my life. It's almost all my life, you know. I'm 60 right now. I think it's many or more years ago that we met, and you know better than anyone how difficult it is to keep me on the straight line. And you managed. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you encouraged me to give Namahata. I'm so grateful that you even encouraged me, give me courage en français. Courage, in English. De moed in Nederlands. To give lectures, more lectures. So you brought me somewhere in the mission for Krishna. I never thought when I met you first it would be possible. And for this, that you helped me to grow, to have confidence in Krishna, I'm very grateful. I'm very happy you are my personal spiritual master. Jai Sri Ram. Kadamba Kanana Swami. Jai. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I need another mic because Hare Krishna Maharaj, they asked me to do something else. So I had to sing something for you. So, and I saw my dear God brother from London, Guru Das. So, okay, we'll give it a try. Okay, and I asked support of Rati, Her Grace Rati Manjari, who is senior devotee and very wonderful support to the Amsterdam temple. And she's here with me to encourage me. So here it goes. I start. Yeah. And this is what I made. You see what the Guru Das made? I have 3. I'm not sure I have the right one in my hand.
We started at 8:30 this
yes.
morning. No, 10:30. 10:30, yes.
Okay.
Bless us.
Namo Krishna Prasthaya Bhutalishi Kadamba Kanana Swami Dinami. Namo Krishna Prasthaya Bhutalishi Guru Das Jai Tvata Swami Dinami. Namo Krishna Prasthaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Vishayani. Name Sri Krishna Vadi Prasthaya Sitani. Okay. When you're down and troubles, you need a helping hand, and nothing's going right. Take your beats and chant your runs, and soon he will be there to brighten up even your darkest nights. You just call Krishna's name and you feel sheltered again. Krishna's with you wherever you are. Winter, spring, summer or fall, all you have to do is call, and you'll be right there. You've got a friend. Please, give us a chance.
Grows dark and Maya comes around to weaken you, bring you down again. Winter, spring, summer.
Look around. Bring you down again. Oh, Krishna. Okay, come on, leave it up. You just call and just name, and you know wherever you are, Krishna is with you wherever you are. Winter, spring, summer or fall, you can try. All you have to do is call, and you'll be right there. You've got a friend. You got a friend indeed. You've got a friend. Just love out. You got a friend. Okay, he said, say a few words to Guru Maharaj. My offering is somewhere there in that book, so I'm going to improvise. So this morning, Guru Maharaj, I was thinking this morning when you were giving your lecture about the S. You said shelter, surrender, and shelter. those are the two important things to come closer to Krishna, to go back to Godhead. And I thought, oh, wonderful. Surrender, you know, Bhagavad Gita, 1865, 1866. I always think of me, remember me, become my devotee, your humble obeisances unto me. Wonderful. And it's true, but I added 3 more while you were giving your lecture. I thought this is nice. It's surrender unto Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita verses, surrender. Then we come from surrender to, what was the other one? Service. Service to Guru. Service to, the third S is service to Swami, very important. And then the other one, the next one was sacrifice. Yes, servants means sacrifice. It sounds lovely, yeah? You serve Krishna, but it is a sacrifice. And what I want to say, Guru, is I experience it every day. You know, sometimes I write you mails and letters. By his mercy, I became president of Amsterdam Temple. First I thought, okay, nice, and it is nice as well, but Guru, it's a big sacrifice, because I know I'm also Dutch, like you, also stubborn, but in Amsterdam I always say everybody's weird. Maybe you put me there because I'm also weird, I don't know. But anyhow, short-tempered, a lot of false ego. When you ask him something, say, I think it's better to do it like this because I think iPad, iPhone, the whole thing is there. But I realize that despite it is hard and difficult, it's a big gift. You gifted me, and that's your nature. Because I experience now that I'm doing it as a sacrifice for you, on the one hand, as an offer to Gurudev, and on the other hand, it's a challenge, it's a big challenge, because all the bad qualities, all the bad things, they pump up, and it's a gift because I can develop much more the qualities which I'm lacking, because by being confronted with all the people I called weird, I realized that, come on, they're weird, come on, look at yourself. Yeah? And it reminds me of how Srila Prabhupada, by his qualities, attracted people. So I'm learning a lot to develop the qualities, to be more humble, more tolerant, more respectful, because it's only by the qualities you can conquer others and devotees and Amsterdam, and make whole Amsterdam more tolerant and more humble. So thank you for this gift. So first I thought it's a sacrifice, but you gifted me. I really don't know how to thank you to give me this position, and I hope you bless me to make something wonderful of Amsterdam, to please you and to please Srila Prabhupada, because he brought the temple to Amsterdam, and my goal in my life now is to maintain it for him and for you. Thank you so much.
Devadanya Prabhu is next, and after him Sutapa.
Well, this is Vyasa-puja like no other. Really, from deepest appreciations and philosophically speaking, into the really creative forms of glorifying the spiritual master, I've never seen it like that, and I'm really inspired. So I thought I had to say something, and initially didn't prepare. Neither me nor my wife here, but I just realized as I was listening in the first part of offerings that your disciples were making, that this is a perfect opportunity, Maharaj, to speak to you, like to really glorify you, because when I get one-on-one with you, or I cannot find words, you seem to make it like so relaxed and so like
like you're saying, like spiritual master is a friend, that I just don't know what to say, and at the same time I feel completely satisfied just being in your presence. But I realize that this opportunity, you know, just it's made for this, so that I can really say how much you are in my life and how much I take inspiration from you. And initially I joined this movement. Really, I was inspired by Prabhupada and by the regulated principles he brought. The regulated principles and the order, his vision for the order of the society that he's bringing. And I was really inspired for that. And that actually, when I spoke first with my wife, she also confided to me that this is the four regulated principles actually inspired her. So that's what we found. But for a long time in this movement, I could not find a place for myself because I could not really nourish the taste. I even remember myself one time I really escaped from the kirtan. When the kirtan was getting too long, they were cooking for prasadam too long. So I just ran away, and I was like really, really mad. Like, why is this going on so long? Why do I have to? I mean, I'm really hungry. Like, what is this? So I had no taste. And at some point, I was even trying to look at some other direction, some other movements, but then once I heard your kirtan from Kirtan Mela 2012, and that, first off, I never heard a melody like that ever before. And second off, I could not understand how you could sing and dance at the same time. I never seen that, so I was really impressed. I was like, who's the Swami? Like, how is it possible? So I was really, and the second what happened is that melody could not get out of my head. So I had to actually learn how to play it on the harmonium to kind of get it out of the head, and that's how I actually learned to play harmonium, and that's how I started to get inspired by kirtan. And then also, when I was seeing you on Harinams, when I was watching videos, so what can I say is though you were saying sometimes at this age everyone is holding to the phone and it's a kind of a curse. I see it as a blessing that because of this technology, but actually yes, it's a mix of the technology made the availability, but then the dedication of your disciples that make it available for this technology, that take the film, the lectures, the kirtan. So that's how I got introduced to your personality, first through kirtans, and then to the depth of your Krishna consciousness, of your realizations. And I come from a place in Ukraine where generally we have a lot of devotees, and generally devotees are not approaching the spiritual masters even for pranam mantra. They get it through senior disciples on this area, and spiritual masters come like really, really rare, like only for our GBC, Kadamba Kanana Swami. So, and I was I could not accept this whole arrangement that how would I accept a person as a spiritual master, but at the same time I would not even have a chance to even talk to him. And then but as I understood that I wanted to be your disciple, actually, but still I went to my counselor. We have a counselor system. I said, can I get a pranam mantra for His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami? And he said, have you met him even? I said, yeah, I saw his videos. But he said, no, you have to go and meet him. You have to go and meet him. So that also, by the mercy of one senior devotees, I went for the first time for Kirtan Mela 2014, and I had a chance to meet you. And then when I told you that I wanted to be your disciple, first thing you told me that write me a letter. So here's my email. Just write me some letters. So I did. And then you responded sometimes. That actually was really surprising for me. Not only I'm writing, but actually you're responding. And then when I found out that I could send you, sorry, maybe that's spoiling something, that I could send you on Facebook, I could actually see that you see it. So that's even better. So then you were gracious. You were gracious to us, to me and my wife. Despite that, at that time, I said that, and you understood that we could be coming really rarely because of the situation we had then. You can, for those who don't know, it was hard to travel from Ukraine to Europe, but right now it's easier. So I also see that as your mercy, because we come here for the first time, but we wanted to come 3 years ago, and Belgian embassy didn't give us visas. So that was a hard hit for us. But then when we wrote to you, you immediately responded, and you were really gracious, and you're saying, so no problem, we can meet next time. So I'm really happy that right now this opportunity is presenting, that I can be more in your association, and I really take a lot of inspiration from you and from your vision for the future of this movement, because at the second part of my life here in ISKCON, Krishna consciousness, I had like a sort of a personal crisis when I was kind of learning a lot, and I was thinking, oh my God, where is this going on? Where is this going? And I was like, really, I did not know who to take shelter from. I knew I could take shelter from Prabhupada, from his teachings, but I was really looking for like a living guru, for a person that I can take shelter from and can help serve Prabhupada. So that when I see your complete dedication, when I see your just superhuman kind of energy, and when I listen to your lectures, which are really like just one of a kind, like the way that you present this very sublime philosophy, and you're making it so available for everyone, and capturing everyone's attention, it really captures my heart, and I hope that I can really someday really satisfy you, like you're saying that you thought about it. So should the disciple satisfy Guru just as a how to say as a given, or it should be like something extraordinary? So I really hope that I could someday do something extraordinary for you and satisfy and help you spread this mission. And like the Prabhupada, Sri Prabhupada, he has this vision that the world, it has to be changed, it has to be conquered. I think, I heard somewhere, I didn't find it like exact citation, that he said that I can conquer this world in 17 days, but what will you do with it? So what will you do with it? So I'm really inspired that I can help you in your mission, because I see you have this vision. So Hare Krishna, thank you very much. And my wife will also say some words. She has written something.
Please take my obeisances to the lotus feet and to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and also Kadamba Swami. It's my first offering, please. Don't judge me so strictly. First, I saw you at 2012 in Mayapur. It was given a Shamabhavatam class. I saw you, and you remind me Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He was preaching like a lion, from Vyasa-puja. It was very funny. And I thought if I have a spiritual master, he will be like you. And but it was impossible, because I'm from Ukraine and you have never been in Ukraine. Yes, and that's why I was very upset in Hama, and I was very prayed for every day, because I want to have some shelter. I want to have some spiritual master very, very much. And also I prayed for Shiva to have a husband. Yes, that's why sorry. It was in my prayer. Yes, there is a very merciful Jagannathas, That's why I prayed for Jagannathas for their mercy, and also for Shiva. It was not from Jagannath, Lord Shiva. That's why when I came home, I let go of the situation and relied on Krishna, and soon it was a miracle. By good fortune, I met my husband, and he also listened to your lecture, and I listened to your lecture. It was translated by Russian, only two. Time by time, to lecture every day. But then I met my husband, and he translated me one your lecture. And since that time, I decided in my heart, he will be my spiritual master. And now I'm sitting here.
I'd like to be like Haridas Thakur, who didn't enter the Jagannath temple because he remembered who he was before. You know, I always remembered whom I was in my past, and eternally appreciate that you accept me and all of us like your disciples. Maharaj, you're my inspiration and example. There is no such words to describe my feelings. Thank you very much for everything, for your mercy, for such a great family, for everything. Thank you.
So we have the final offering with Sutapa Prabhu. Apologies to those who wanted to read the offering, but sorry, we've run out of time. Hopefully you have to come next year.
Hare Krishna. I was thinking about what to say. For me to feel small in my spiritual life is difficult because I'm quite tall. Of course, when I stand next to Gopinath Acharya, I feel small. But when I'm around you, definitely I feel very small. You carry so much spiritual weight. It's it's amazing. It's very humbling. This year we had some opportunity to serve you, and that was a humbling experience. I couldn't even put your socks on properly. Once I even tried to take your jumper off and I nearly ripped your head off, I think. And at one point we were in Krishna kirtans, this tiny bathroom, and you were sitting in a chair in the bathtub. I was in my gamsha. I had this herbal oil in my hand, and I was thinking I didn't think guru-disciple relationship would be like this. And I was thinking, I'm the wrong person for this job. I don't know how Krishna Kirtan told me to be here. Anyway, then I started putting the oil on you. I thought I was doing a good job, and then at one point you said, you're dropping it all over my gamsha. So I said, no, Maharaj, I'm not. And then you showed me your gamsha, and there were drops there. And I said, Maharaj, don't worry, I'll wash the gamsha. He said, no, you can't wash it. Even if you wash it, it won't come out. I said, Maharaj, I'll get you a new gamsha. He said, no, I like this gamsha. I said, Maharaj, I'll get you a better gamsha. So it was very humbling, very purifying. When I joined the temple, Maharaj, I asked one senior devotee how to become a good devotee in my ashram. And he told me to recite the Sad Goswami Ashtakam every day and really understand the mood, the mission, the character, and the deep absorption of the Goswamis. So that's what I began doing. I began reciting that, and somehow or other developed a great appreciation for the Goswamis, and they became like role models, heroes in my spiritual life. But still the Goswamis were so high, so elevated, so deeply absorbed in Krishna that it was still difficult to relate it. And then when I came in contact with you, then I realized that you are actually the modern Goswami, totally the modern Goswami. The 6 Goswamis had such a relationship with Vrindavan, and in the same way you connect us with Vrindavan in the same way through your attachment. The Goswamis were writing books and were really absorbed in the philosophy, extracting the essence, and you're able to do that. The books are here. We hope that you'll write the CC book, Maharaj. Yeah. The Goswamis were, is said, liked by the gentle and the ruffians alike. Like you told me once, like, yeah, I can dance with the Jagais and Madais in King's Day, who have like a toilet seat as a garland. And you're totally at ease with that. And then you can just step into like a room full of ISKCON scholars and then just be totally at ease there as well. Like the Goswamis were said to be so deeply spiritually absorbed, but so streetwise and managerial and astute, sharp. And like you're the same, you can just sit on a Vyasa-san, give like a deep Bhagavatam class, and then just talk management and just be so sharp. And the Goswamis were so much followers of Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Kripambaro, and they were carrying that mercy of Gauranga. And like that, you said to me once that in this whole thing, when you told me to take this step of going towards the next ashram, then I spoke with one senior devotee and he said, no, you should go slow, you're still young. You should still like change yourself gradually, build up to it, maybe at 50, maybe at 55. So I came back to you and I said, this is what this devotee said. And you just looked at me and said, we're from different schools. He's from the Vedic school, but I'm from the Gauranga school. And I just throw you in. So somehow or other, it's very exciting being with you, Maharaj, but it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. But you're connecting us with Mahaprabhu in that way. Once I said to you early, before I got initiated, I said to you, I don't have so much connection with Gauranga, with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I don't connect with Gaura Leela so much. And then you just looked at me and said, it's not about Gaura Leela, it's about Gaura Tattva. Understand Gaura Tattva, understand the identity, the incredible character and offering of Mahaprabhu, and then you will be able to gain entrance. So like you connected us with Mahaprabhu, with Chaitanya Charitamrita. So much for me, Maharaj, you're like the modern Goswami. You're so much carrying that mood. You said to me that the greatest gift you can have in your life is to have someone in your life who has more faith than you have in yourself. You said that to me once. And you said Jayadvaita Maharaj was like that for you. So you give me so much encouragement, you put so much faith in me. I don't deserve it. Somehow I'm in the position trying to do some service for you. So thank you very much, Maharaj, for everything. I hope I'll live up to your expectations. And please you. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, if you'd like to say a few words for us.